In July 2022, a gripping tale unfolded in England that was fueled by SHAE Grove's passion for crime stories. At 27 years old, SHAE was a single mother with a troubled past, and her fascination with true crime and serial killers was unparalleled. If asked to rate her level of interest on a scale of 1 to 10, she would undoubtedly give it a perfect score. Back in 2019, SHAE's social media posts portrayed her as a happy and content mother. However, as time went on, her obsession with true crime took hold, leading her down a different and darker path. Sometime around 2020, SHAE's friends began to notice a significant transformation in her. She developed an intense interest in real crime documentaries and literature about the underworld. Her collection of serial killer mugs became a curious symbol of her obsession. Furthermore, her physical appearance underwent a drastic change, with tattoos and piercings adorning her face, neck, and body. SHAE's peculiar hobbies were manifested in her assortment of knives, Viking axes, and a Celtic dagger. She even had a bookshelf shaped like a coffin in one of her rooms, and her bedroom wall was covered with framed pictures of notorious criminals, including Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Rose West. While SHAE's fascination with true crime and serial killers was undeniable, it was not her sole obsession. She also harbored a deep curiosity for exploring non-traditional interests, which are further detailed in the comments section. However, her infatuation with a man named Frankie Fitzgerald occupied much of her thoughts and time. Frankie, a 25-year-old resident of Portsmouth, had become the object of SHAE's obsessive attachment. Although their relationship had experienced its share of issues over their sporadic 6-month dating history, nothing could have prepared SHAE's friend Vicky Betap for the shocking revelation that was about to unfold on a typical Sunday morning, July 17, 2022. SHAE contacted Vicky through a video link, but this call was anything but ordinary. In a disturbing admission, SHAE revealed that she had harmed Frankie and that he was now dead. Initially, Vicky dismissed the statement as a dark joke, given SHAE's personality and fascination with crime. However, SHAE's laughter and the phone's camera pointed at Frankie provided undeniable visual confirmation that her claim was chillingly real. Concerned and bewildered, Vicky questioned SHAE about her actions and motives. SHAE explained that she and Frankie had a heated argument the previous night before going to bed angry. Upon waking up, SHAE's jealousy got the best of her when she discovered a chat room on Frankie's messaging app where he was conversing with a 13-year-old girl. Overwhelmed by emotions, SHAE lost control, seized one of the knives from their bedroom, and committed a gruesome act that resulted in Frankie's demise. Certain details had to be concealed or omitted due to policy restrictions. As the truth of SHAE's actions unfolded, Frankie briefly regained consciousness after the initial blow, attempting to defend himself. However, SHAE's overpowering determination prevailed. Wrapping up her explanation, SHAE unsettlingly asked Vicky, "We're still friends, right?" Following Vicky's report, law enforcement swiftly dispatched police officers to SHAE's residence to investigate the accusation. Surprisingly, SHAE appeared completely composed and unaffected when she met with the officers, showing no signs of concern. Without hesitation, she confessed that there was indeed a body in her room and directed them to the murder weapon in the bathroom sink. Upon entering the bedroom, the officers were met with a strong scent of bleach, indicating SHAE's attempt to eliminate evidence. The attached commentary below the article contains the forensic expert's findings from the autopsy, which revealed the severity of the victim's injuries, suggesting a slim chance of survival. SHAE was promptly taken into custody, where she wasted no time informing the officers that she had acted in self-defense, claiming that Frankie had been physically aggressive towards her. The gruesome nature of the crime left the community shocked and perplexed, searching for answers as to what could have driven a young mother to commit such a heinous act. As the investigation unfolded, new information emerged regarding SHAE's mental state and the circumstances surrounding the massacre. Reports indicated that SHAE had been struggling with mental health issues in the months leading up to the crime, exacerbated by her substance abuse and alcohol addiction. Those close to her had observed significant changes in her behavior and interests, including an intensified obsession with true crime and a preoccupation with Frankie. Despite being accused of taking a life, SHAE Groves maintained her claim of self-defense when she shot Frankie. She asserted that she had intended to contact the authorities herself after the incident, but that Vicky had done so on her behalf while she gathered her composure. SHAE also disclosed to investigators that she possessed video evidence of Frankie mistreating her. In January 2023, the trial began and lasted for 5 weeks. The prosecution argued that SHAE had meticulously planned the crime over a prolonged period and that her actions were not a justified act of self-defense, as she asserted. The prosecutor highlighted SHAE's fixation on true crime, her fascination with knives, and her unconventional interests as contributing factors to her impulse to harm Frankie. As evidence, the prosecution presented weeks' worth of communication between SHAE and her friends and family through text messages, social media posts, and emails. In these correspondences, SHAE expressed her dissatisfaction with Frankie and her intention to end their relationship. She even shared fantasies of harming him and sought advice from acquaintances on how to dispose of evidence. She had made an unsuccessful request to her ex-boyfriend to physically assault Frankie. During the trial, the prosecution also presented evidence of SHAE's substance abuse and alcohol consumption, arguing that her judgment was impaired at the time of the crime. Testimonies from law enforcement officials confirmed the presence of bleach in the residence, suggesting SHAE's attempts to sanitize the area and conceal evidence. SHAE's defense team countered the prosecution's claims by asserting that the act was indeed an act of self-defense. They presented evidence of Frankie's past violent behavior towards SHAE and argued that she suffered from various mental illnesses, including depression and anxiety, which contributed to her emotional instability at the time of the incident. In an effort to demonstrate Frankie's abuse towards SHAE, the defense presented video footage from a hidden camera in SHAE's bedroom. It remained unclear whether Frankie was aware of the camera's presence. However, during the trial, the jury watched the tape, which depicted Frankie coercing SHAE into engaging in sexual activity. While the video seemed to provide direct evidence of Frankie's abuse, the situation was not as straightforward. After the tape was shown, SHAE added that she was in significant pain during the incident, but was too afraid to seek help from the authorities and chose to let it go. However, the prosecution argued that the video shown by the defense was incomplete, and the most crucial part had been edited out. They discovered the full video on SHAE's computer, which revealed SHAE and Frankie negotiating a safe word before engaging in the activity, using the phrase "red light" as the signal. SHAE claimed she was in immense pain and that all she had to do to make Frankie stop was to use the stop word. However, for some reason, she didn't, leading the prosecution to argue that she actually enjoyed what was happening and that it was consensual. Furthermore, SHAE's friends testified that she had installed a hidden camera in her bedroom and recorded her encounters with various partners, some of whom she later blackmailed for money after breaking up with them. In this context, it became evident that SHAE was actively involved, and the police investigated approximately 4,000 hours of video footage from her home. During the trial, SHAE's friend Vicky, who had reported the incident to the police, testified and provided details about the video call that took place on the July morning. Vicky's testimony contradicted SHAE's self-defense claim and confirmed that SHAE had admitted to attacking Frankie while he was asleep. When SHAE took the witness stand and testified during the trial, she shared her side of the story. According to her, she and Frankie had a disagreement the night before the incident. The next morning, she discovered messages on his phone exchanged with a 13-year-old girl. Fueled by jealousy and anger, she confronted Frankie verbally, which escalated into him grabbing her by the neck and choking her. In fear for her life, SHAE fought back and grabbed the nearest object within reach, which happened to be a knife. Realizing the gravity of her actions, she began cleaning up but was interrupted when she considered calling the police. However, the police had already arrived at her house after Vicky's call. SHAE explained to the authorities that she initially told Vicky that Frankie was asleep when she attacked him because she didn't want to tarnish his reputation as an abusive partner after his death. The question of whether her explanation is convincing regarding her nobility in this situation remains subjective. Upon examining SHAE's cell phone, it was discovered that she had sent messages to another man, inviting him to spend time with her while Frankie's body remained in her bedroom. Throughout the trial, the defense argued that SHAE had attacked Frankie in response to discovering his communication with a 13-year-old girl. However, this argument was dismissed by the judge, as an investigation into Frankie's phone data showed that he had immediately blocked the girl as soon as she disclosed her age. Therefore, it is impossible to definitively determine the exact motive behind the crime. Both the victim and the perpetrator were using illegal substances, consuming alcohol, frequently quarreled, and engaged in unconventional practices, all while SHAE's daughter was present in the house. On February 17, 2023, SHAE Groves was found guilty of intentionally taking the life of her partner by the jury after 18 hours of deliberation. The Winchester Crown Court sentenced her to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after serving 23 years.